Hello, and welcome to another edition of Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. I'm John Schaefer, and today I'm going to be streaming the Leviathan Hunt scenario from the upcoming Trident class assault ship release that's going to be coming out in 2 weeks. So that's going to release on June 25th. So this scenario in particular is especially cool because you can play it solo, you can play it co-op, you can play it with a bunch of different friends, run it back, you can tweak it and adjust it however you see fit. It comes in 2 stages, which I will probably get through the first stage today, and then we will cover whatever is remaining next week. So I've already kind of set up the board. It's all set up as per the scenario rules. I will go over a lot of the specifics there, but first I just wanted to talk about the Trident in general. There are, some new upgrades that are coming in this product in particular. That there's a lot going on with them. I think that the primary upgrade in question is the Tracking Torpedoes upgrade, which has a lot of stuff going on. It's super cool, really interesting, and really engaging in how it actually works. But I think we need to kind of discuss them because I've kind of shown the cards off up to this point, but people haven't really seen how it is executed on the tabletop. So let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit. So this is the Tracking Torpedoes upgrade card. It's got 3 charges on it. You can only use it on huge ships. You can spend all 3 charges to launch all 3 tracking torpedoes in a single phase if you want to. And it will use the 3 bank left or right and the 4 straights to put those out. Those, looking over here, look like that. This is a tracking torpedo token right here. And it can extend off of the front and be placed either with the, let me grab some templates here. So you could throw one out like this if you wanted to. You could throw one out straight ahead. You can throw one going off in the other direction as well if you wanted. But what's interesting about them is that they all launch during the system phase. So that happens before, so you've already plotted all your dials and things. But then it's going to happen before you actually have the activation with the Trident. So these things are just going to be flying around, tracking onto enemy targets, and zooming in to try to blow them up in future turns. They're really interesting kind of area denial and just something else that your opponent has to deal with. So the general rules for them are as such. That's what the token looks like. Each token has 3 agility and 3 hull on it. So your opponents can pick them out. They can shoot them. They can try to shoot them down as they are kind of chasing around them. So that system phase rule right there kind of indicates what I was talking about before. So they launch before everybody else does their activations in the activation phase. And then the remainder of the rules for them are in the engagement phase at that remote's initiative, and they're labeled A, B, and C to keep them separate because they also have to get locks on whatever they want to try to track and chase down. So when you deploy them, they will automatically get a lock on anything that the Trident already has a lock on, or whatever huge ship you decide to put these on, because this is not a Trident exclusive upgrade. If they don't have a lock on something in particular, they'll get one during the end phase. So they're going to move around the board, and then in the engagement phase, if they're within range 1 and the target is in its front arc on the token itself, they're going to explode. And when they detonate, they do a lot of damage. They roll 4 attack dice, and any ship, remote structure, anything like that, that is at range 1 of them is going to suffer 4 damage. And all these rules are also kind of summarized, whoops, wrong one, on the actual remote card for the tracking torpedoes. So this kind of indicates like all the system phase rules, when all those things happen during the game. So if you were like looking to kind of see how this is actually going to be implemented on the tabletop. So say I launch a tracking torpedo here in the system phase, and then ships are going to move. They're going to go around. They're going to know they will already, enemy ships will have already plotted their maneuvers on their dials. So, but these things are going to move at 0 in the system phase, so they can make some other decisions after the fact. And then say the Trident already has a lock on the Shadowcaster, for example. That means that this thing is going to continue to, during my turns, if I'm the controlling player that's controlling the Trident, I'll be able to move these things around using the 3 templates. And once they get within range 1, that thing's going to detonate, and then any other ship that's within range 1, so in this case both of those, you'd roll 4 dice and they would suffer 1 damage for each result. So pretty nasty, pretty cool upgrade in general. I think it's going to be really interesting for epic players and players that like to play with huge ships. I think it's definitely very, very cool. So yeah, I think you got to watch out for those. They're going to be something really fun and really interesting in games of epic. There's going to be a lot of ships on the board. They're probably going to detonate. They might blow up some of your own ships. Yeah, super fun thing for everyone to try to play around with and give a shot. So let's talk more about the scenario at hand, because we're going to try to get through the 2 stages of this. So this scenario is called Leviathan Hunt, as I mentioned before. And let me turn this off so we can see where our dice are when we get to those. So in phase 1 of the Leviathan Hunt, I'm trying to track down and find the Trident. So the Trident does not start on the board. This thing is in fact somewhere else, lurking in the shadows, off somewhere doing nefarious deeds. What I need to do is I essentially need to, first, after you set up everything, there are, a standard number of asteroids, debris clouds, and gas clouds that are going to go on the table. And then after that, I'm going to put 1 victory marker on every asteroid and every debris field that's out here. So each one of these is going to get 1 of these tokens on it. And this indicates, a place where I can search to try to find the Trident. The other markers that are on the table, there are 4 of them, and they're all placed kind of in each, near each table edge, I suppose. And 2 of them are red, and 2 of them are blue. And these are objective markers. And what these represent are where the Trident might strike from the shadows and lash out at you to attack you while you are maneuvering and trying to find its location and ascertain where it's going to be located. So the way that you determine that is that at the end of every round, you will roll 2 dice, and then that will indicate what these things do. And they can move, they can rotate, they can attack anything within range 2 of it. So, anything it has a forward arc here on the front. So these are really cool objective markers that are used in both of the scenarios that come with the Trident, and they're going to complicate things for me. So the way that I actually discover one of these victory markers is I have to be within range 1 of it. I have to have it in my forward arc, and then at the beginning of the system phase, I can remove that token and score it, and then I suffer 1 strain on the ship. So that is something that you kind of have to deal with a little bit, because the more strain that's going to be going on these ships, the more potent the attacks are going to be. They're going to roll fewer defense dice when it comes time to it. So yeah, so that is the gist of the scenario. Once I have discovered a certain number of these markers, different things happen in the scenario as well. So one of the cool things is that I can search out, and once I've uncovered 3 of these, I can discover a secret weakness on the Trident. And what that means is that I flip over the top 2 cards of the huge damage deck. I choose one of those cards and I just put it in my pocket. That's something that I can save for later. In a future attack, when I attack the Trident, I can spend one of my crit results to automatically apply that crit to it. And that can be really, really devastating to the Trident, because you can shut down a particular weapon system, like its tractor tentacles or its drill beak or anything like that. So yeah, it's certainly very potent. We'll see how the cards all flop for me for that. Once the Trident is revealed, in which case I have to discover all 6 of these markers, or at the end of every turn, there's also another roll that's also going to happen at the end of every round. So I roll 1 dice equal to the round number, whatever that is. So first round 1 dice, second round 2 dice, etc. If I ever roll 2 focus results, the Trident just jumps out and ambushes me. I put it right next to one of my ships in a prime location that is probably going to spell the end of that particular ship. Because if you have not yet read the upgrade cards for the Trident, the tractor tentacles attack, it can pretty much just make 4 attacks in a given turn. And if you are at range 0 of it, they're even worse, because it can start to use the drill beak and all sorts of other stuff. But we will cover that once we get to it. But right now I need to find the Trident. It needs to be located somewhere in here. So before I get into the actual first round, let's talk a little bit about the squad that I chose and why I chose them. So I chose because asteroids are going to be a huge part of this scenario. I chose Mining Guild TIE fighters. They ignore asteroids. Seems great. I chose Ahab because he is awesome in this particular scenario because his opponent has a larger base than him, so he gets extra dice on defense and attack as well. I also chose a Mining Guild Surveyor to go in there, and I equipped both of those with both Predator, which is pretty easy to trigger here because the Trident has a massive base, so you can probably get it in your arc, your bullseye arc, sorry. And then I also chose Afterburners because repositioning and getting out of the Trident's front or rear arcs is going to be crucial for the survival of those particular ships. So the Mining Guild, that's pretty obvious what I'm doing there. I also chose Asajj Ventress for a couple different reasons. One, because Asajj is super cool. Asajj actually rides on one of these Tridents, so maybe this is the precursor to Asajj acquiring this particular asset for her assault on Camino, for example. And the paint scheme looks really cool next to the Mining Guild TIE fighters. So a huge fan of the Shadowcaster. It's one of my favorite ships, so I definitely wanted to play with that. In addition to that, I chose my favorite pilot out of the Fugitives and Collaborators squadron pack that just came out recently, and that is Lima Kai. Lima Kai is definitely very, very cool, and Lima's whole duty here is just to pump damage into this thing. So Lima's Knave ability is pretty awesome. She can get free locks on things to help power those Proton Torpedoes that she has, and then a Pattern Analyzer should also help increase my chances of getting some damage through in general, or at least just to get the extra actions. So I found with the Y-Wing in particular, there's a lot of red maneuvers in there, so it's nice to be able to just get a lock and a focus on turns when I do a K-turn or something like that. It seems pretty sweet. So that is the squadron that I have. The Trident itself, I chose the quick build upgrade card that comes with it, the Colicoid Destroyer, which means it has tractor tentacles. It has the drill beak, and then it also has the optimized power core. So that's going to be pretty handy for that to recover energy. It really wants to get energy every turn. If you wanted to increase the difficulty or decrease it, you could certainly add additional upgrades to the Trident if you so chose. Crew and or additional title upgrades, something like that. But for now, I'm just kind of going with it straight up. So before I get into this, let's see if we can just go through the chat real quick and see if I'm missing anything in particular, any other general questions that are not being addressed by BK. Can you explain the 4K movement for the ship? It functions pretty similarly to how a regular Koigran turn works. You would utilize the huge ship movement template. Essentially, it's going to start here. It's going to move down to 4. You're going to flip the entire ship around and put it right down there. So that is particularly useful with the Trident because its rear arc is particularly nasty. It also has a couple different maneuvers that just lets it back up into people with a 1 and a 2 reverse in both cases. So it's pretty nimble, I would say, in terms of a huge ship as far as how it's going to maneuver and be able to get those tractor tentacles to bear. And then it has a pretty massive arc on the front and the back too. So I found it is, it's easy to underestimate. And then all of a sudden you're just getting tractor tentacled to death and you can't really escape, which is pretty tough. So yeah. I don't see if I see anything else. Oh, do you want me to actually do the 4K like on a table so you can see it? Okay. So I'll just simply line my tool up here on a 4, and then this thing goes like so. I'm fairly certain that's how that works, but yeah. All right. So pretty massive turn and abilities there, certainly nasty, and then it's yeah, if you run over small ships, it still just displaces them, and it will deal damage according to the amount of speed that it had. So that makes the Trident really nasty because it has like some really high speed values. And when you overlap other ships, which definitely has happened in my playtesting of this scenario. Some of the results that you get from the automated activation cards, which I'll go over once we actually reveal the Trident stuff. Some of them have like speed 5 moves, speed 4 moves, and if they like land on an enemy ship, it's just that amount of damage equal to the speed. Yeah, it is pretty wicked. So yeah, this thing is no joke. Definitely pretty strong. We'll be posting all the points and the slots and things the week of release, but just to give you all a little bit of a teaser, it's going to come in at 90 points. Those tracking torpedoes are 8 points each. And then there's a whole bunch of other upgrades and other things that you can all check out. So yeah, that gives you all a general idea of what's going on. So let's get into the scenario. Let's get cracking on with it. So I think everyone kind of knows what I'm doing here. I'm trying to move up. I'm trying to scan as many of these tokens as possible. I'm trying to avoid these arcs of these static ambush points that could come up. And in general, just try not to fly on rocks in these first few turns while I am navigating the course. So I'm going to go ahead and start to plan my maneuvers. So I've set up one mining guild surveyor over here. Pretty much his job to go over here and get this one. I think everybody else is just going to sweep in and around. So once we have revealed 5 of these tokens, I'm going to remove one of these 2 hyperspace points. And these hyperspace points represent where the Trident will manifest. So I have a little bit of an idea. I can get set up a few turns ahead of time to make sure that I am properly equipped to try to attack this thing and hopefully just be out of its way when it does its AI maneuvers. So let's go ahead and plot some maneuvers here. I don't think stress matters too much in these first turns, so that guy's just going to go streaming forward 5. I'm going to have Ahab go forward a little bit slower to try to pick this one up. And you have a lot of choice when it comes to where you actually set up all the obstacles on the board. You could clump them all up together if you wanted to, but in my experience, I like to spread my ships out a little bit because it can just be the end of the scenario if they're all clumped up and the Trident just mashes over top of all of them. So I'm trying to spread out the ships a little bit so I'll suitably kind of spread out all of the obstacles a little bit so I can hopefully have a little bit of maneuvering room before it comes time to actually fight this thing. Okay, so let me see. Limakai, I think, is just going to go... Saj can pick up this one. I think Lima wants to go after this one over here. So, again, I'm not too worried about stress. I'll go ahead and just get into it. Stream forward 4. Saj has got to go very cautiously forward. Fortunately, the Shadowcaster does not have the best... Well, actually, it has a really good dial. What am I talking about? I can just go 1 forward and probably just be right on target. Okay, cool. So everything is all mapped out. Just goes through the standard turn itself. So I'll go ahead and start to maneuver some ships, starting with the lowest initiative, which is this Mining Guild Surveyor. So go into here. It's a pretty good spot to be at, but that maneuver did accrue 1 stress for a 5 straight, so no actions for that one. Actions in this first turn are, I guess, focus actions are decent to take because if you do get attacked, you can have a little bit of defensive counter there. I'm going to go ahead and move these placement markers for the deployment zone here. Next is going to be Ahab. Same story. Zipping way up here. 1-5. He's going to go after this one or that one over there, and then I'll just leave Asajj to try to go in here and take care of these other ones. Also a stress there. Oops, bump there. Asajj is next, 1 straight. Cautiously approaching. There we go. And Asajj, where is that indicator at? I forgot to spin this thing, so I'll just go ahead and use Asajj's action to point this thing forward. So I'll point her turret arc to the front. That is hopefully going to play a pivotal role in later turns where I can use Asajj's ability to spend force to apply stress to the Trident. Every stress applied to that thing transfers into 1 less energy that it has per the huge ship rules. So that is pretty awesome because that's 1 less tractor tentacle attack that I'm going to take to the face. So that seems pretty good. And Lee Mackay is going to go 4 straight. Oh, I see. The template's over here. Bear with me as I get a little organized here. Okay, 4 straight up to that point, and that also will accrue 1 stress. So I'll probably be, dialing in some blue maneuvers here in future turns. But now we get to the phase of the Trident. So after everything is gone, we've got ambush attacks. This happens in the engagement phase at initiative 0. So since I don't have anything to engage with the rest of my ships, I will just do this. I will roll 2 attack dice. I got a focus and a hit result. If there are 1 or more hit results, each red objective marker performs 1 ambush attack against the nearest ship in its arc. An ambush attack is a 2 dice attack to the front arc. It has no range modifications. It has a range of 2. This attack can be performed at range 0, and if the attack is 0, the defender rolls 1 fewer defense dice. So that is certainly something that I want to try to avoid. So all of the red ones are going to trigger, and then that focus result also means that all of the blue ones are going to trigger as well. So let's see who we've got. So this one has got Lee Mackay in range, so that one can definitely take a shot. This one can take a shot on that Mining Guild Surveyor, but these other 2 I think are out of range. So let's do this one first, an attack against Lee Mackay. 2 dice. Even though it is very close, Lima does not get an extra dice for the range, for range 1. Lima has only got 1 defense dice. Come on. Nope. No focus there. That is 1 less shield for Lee Mackay. We'll go down 1, and then over here against that target, nothing there. All right, so not so bad. Certainly fine. Now after that, now I roll 1 attack dice equal to the round number. So it's round number 1. I got a hit result. So then I consult this chart, and it kind of goes down through a list of different results. If 1 or more hit results, relocate each objective marker forward as follows. If the nearest ship is at range 0 to 3 is in the side arc, it's going to do a 1 bank towards the target. Same if it's on the right side. And then if it's directly ahead, it's going to use a 2 straight. So I will now perform all those maneuvers and let these things kind of move. So this thing is the closest enemy ship is this Mining Guild Surveyor. So it is going to move right to here. This one, the closest is Lee Mackay, so it is going to perform maneuver, but it is going to bump and right like that. This one, nearest enemy ship is here, so that means it's going to do a 2 straight. Here we go. And these don't suffer any penalties for obstacles or anything else. They just kind of ignore them. Okay. And this one over here, nearest enemy ship is here, so it's just going to go 2 straight as well. Like that. And that is essentially how the rounds go for the turns. So if I want to score any of these objective markers, I need to do it during the system phase. So it'll be after I plot my dials, but if I already know that I'm going to take a stress, I might as well just plan for a blue maneuver for each of these to try to mitigate it. Definitely going to be the case here with this Mining Guild Surveyor. He's going to move and do a 2 bank. That is a debris cloud and not an asteroid, so unfortunately it does not ignore the effects of that. So I'll have to make a dice roll for that one probably, as I kind of clip it. Let me see. Captain Ahab wants to go. Let me see. Let's get Ahab set up to try to pick up this one. We'll go with a speed 3. 3 bank to the left. That seems decent. And then we've got this Y-wing. who's a little stressed and right on top of that. So I think getting that thing out of dodge seems pretty good. And I want to get to like right here, so just go with a three bank there. Asajj is going to pick this one up, so I think Asajj wants to go. Asajj really wants to do blue maneuvers, so yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do a 3 bank with Asajj. Okay, so at the end of the phase, anybody that has one of these things at range 1 in their front arc can pick one up, and then they get a strain. So Asajj will get a strain, but thankfully dialed in a blue maneuver. Hopefully we'll mitigate that. None there, and then over here, this Mining Guild Surveyor will also pick one up. We got one there, and then also strain for you as well. Okay. Can you shoot those things or move them with stuff? The objective markers, I don't believe that you can. I think that they are just kind of a static thing. They don't have a health value, they don't have hull or anything like that. So yeah, they're just kind of a thing that you have to deal with. Now, once you reveal the Trident, they all get picked up, so you don't have to deal with them after that. But right now, they're going to kind of harass me as I'm doing my deed. Okay, so starting over here. Oops, I gave him a stress and not a strain. Not going to matter too much because I'm just going to dial in a blue maneuver anyway. Okay, so doing a 2 bank here. See if I can possibly skip that that debris cloud. Oh, just barely. Very nice. All right, cool. So nothing there. Those two will go away. As a blue maneuver will reduce both a stress and a strain. And then I think I'll just go ahead and focus over there. That seems like a safe bet. The Mining Guild Surveyor. Ahab is next, going with a 3 bank. Over this direction. Worked out pretty well within range 1 of that. I'm going to have to suffer that attack. We'll see how that goes. But keeps that stress with him because that was not a blue maneuver. After that, we've got Asajj. And Asajj is going to go 3 bank for this way. Template does not overlap the asteroid, so that's good. Asajj will go to here. Blue maneuver will get rid of the strain, and just a focus is fine. I'm a little defensive in case guns come to bear. I'm gonna have to worry about this one too. I think I missed that one, so I'll have to make sure to double back and try to get that. Maybe this guy will hook in next turn. That seems like a good use for them. Okay, and then finally we've got this Y-Wing, Limakai. Where's Lima going? Also a 3 bank. Trying to get set up for those later turns. Up to here. And that looks like a good range for that, but keeps that stress that they have. Okay, all the ships have now maneuvered. They've done their deeds, so now it is back to the lurking Trident and seeing what that's going to do this turn. Go back to my dice. We'll consult them. We're going to roll 2 of these. There's a hit and a crit. That doesn't sound good. Let's see what that means. Not so bad, actually. I think what you don't really want to roll is you don't want to roll a blank and a focus and a hit and a crit, because then both of them are going to trigger. But right now, on a hit or a crit result, only the red ones are going to trigger. We're only going to attack. It looks like it's a range 2 attack. So that is going to be, yep, a 2 dice attack on Asajj. Oof. 2 dice there. Asajj has got 2 of these. Ugh! Okay. Not so good. Alright. Well, Asajj, you lost your shields due to a lashing tentacle from the darkness. Okay, let me see, where was I? And then this one over here, if this one can make an attack, let's see. I don't think anybody is in arc there. Nope, nope, and not at range 2. So nope. Save there. So that was still not a great outcome. any rate, I'm going to roll 2 dice now because it is now round 2 and see what happens. And my hope is that I don't roll double focus. Ooh, that was close. All right, so if I roll 1 or more focus results and no blanks, I rotate each objective marker 90 degrees to the right. That one's going to turn 90 that way. Ooh, this one's going to turn 90 and start going after me over here. This one's going to turn 90 like that. And then this one is going to turn 90 right towards that ship. So certainly something to configure and think about. And then I also got a hit result, which means that they are going to move as they did in the previous turn. So using 2 straights or 1 banks. So this one is close here. So it is going to move straight up to here and it's going to bump with Lima Kai. This one, the nearest enemy ship is right here. So that means it's going to do a 1 bank in this direction. Over to here. This one in the forward arc, so we'll just go straight. And this one, nearest ship is over here. It will hook over around this way. All right, that's that turn. End of the turn. I'm going to pick up these focus tokens that didn't really do me much good. And go back to dials. Are there any general questions that are going on right now? Let's take a look. Yeah, I agree. The best part of playing solo is that nobody's going to get upset if I miss a trigger or do something weird. I've only myself to blame. Oh, did I? You know what? Maybe it actually did hit that. Nah, whatever. We won't rewind it. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, anyway, let's proceed on. Let's keep cracking on. Let's do it. All right, so let's go with these dials here. So at the beginning of this turn, Lima Kai is going to pick up this one. Ahab is going to pick up that one. That leaves this one back here and this one here. So this guy definitely needs to hook in and try to pick that one up in the next turn. So let's do some of that. Let's do that with like a 2 turn. I think that should probably do it justice. Over here, we'll do Ahab next. Ahab just wants to go screaming towards that other one. I think he'll just go with a 3 bank to the side over there. Asajj can move in here to pick that one up. Or no, I'm sorry, this one's going to get picked up this turn. Y-Wing is going to try to avoid that debris field, I guess. And dial in a blue, I think, to get rid of the stress and the strain that it's going to accrue. Yeah, I think that's still safe. And let's have old Asajj get ready. So at the end of this turn, I'm going to get a secret weakness. So I'll get to search through the top 2 cards of the damage deck and pick one of those. And then once I pull 5 of these things off, then I'm going to get rid of one of these 2 points, which will then indicate where I can actually get set up. So I got to think about that a little bit. I'm thinking right now that is a better space for the Trident than over here. Because if the Trident gets dropped like right there, in the next turns, I think I'm still going to have ships over here. So that seems bad. I think I'm banking on removing this hyperspace point so I can spawn over on that side. That seems just fine to me. So I think as a result, I'm going to have Asajj just kind of just do a nice little 1 bank. Something kind of simple. Okay, so end of the planning phase, start of the system phase. Picks up this one. Well, let me just make sure they're at range 1. Yep, got it. Pick that one up. So that is my 3rd one, which means that I will search the top 2 cards here. And I've got Controls Disrupted or Turret Disabled. Now, Disabled is really good in this particular scenario, but I have to be off to the side of the Trident. So I think I'm going to do that to be able to shut down one of its nasty attacks. That seems like a good use of that card. So I will put that in my pocket. In a later turn, when I make an attack against the Trident, I can spend one of my crits to automatically apply that to it, that effect to it, which is pretty good. Okay, back over here. So let's go ahead and make some maneuvers. We're doing a two turn right here. And while I jostle them a little bit, next Ahab is going to do a free bank. Kind of taking a little bit of a gamble with Ahab here, but I think I'm just going to get him set up. Oh, I can also perform an action with that one, so I'll go ahead and put a focus there. No action for Ahab, he's still stressed. And next is going to be Asajj, just doing a 1. One bank over here. That point right there. Go ahead and take a focus. Why not? Seems good. Oh, he picked this one up as well. I forgot about that during the system phase. I kind of skipped ahead a little bit. Pardon me. It's also a strain there. Strain on Limakai, but it won't matter too much because Limakai is doing a 1 blue maneuver over this direction. Definitely avoiding that that debris field and clearing both of these. And then Lima will, I think probably also focus. Seems okay. I'd probably go for an evade should Lima actually have the action to do so, but okay. I have maneuvered all of my people. I have picked up 4 of the tokens. Next turn I'm going to pick up 5, which means I'll get rid of that, and this one as well. So they're both within range. So next turn, Trident shall be revealed. How are we doing on time? 3:37. We'll probably even get a few turns in against the Trident, but I won't be able to finish it for this stream. We'll pick it up next week for sure. Okay, well, let's see what the Trident does against us here. Oh, that's not what I want to roll. So first thing is that all of the red objective markers are going to attack, and then all of the blue ones are going to attack. So that's all of them. Let's go ahead and do that. First one's first, over here against Limakai. 2 dice. Lucky. This one here against Ahab. Not so good. Alright, well that thing does not have a larger base, so no extra dice for Ahab, but he gets 3. 2 results there, we'll cancel that. That seems great. This one has no one in arc. This one, closest ship is here. Range, oops. Excuse me while I jostle my own pieces. That one will make an attack there. 2 dice. Alright, not so bad. And 3 agility on the Mining Guild. Yeah, no problem. No issues whatsoever. Round 3, I roll 3 of these dice. Please, no double focus. Alright, not so bad. Could have been worse. Well, the crit results are not great, though. It's going to just apply more strain. So first things first, we're going to go down this chart, and the first result is 1 focus and no blanks, so that means that each of these are going to rotate 90 degrees to the right again. 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. That one's going off somewhere weird. 90 degrees here. And now each ship in the front arc at range 0 to 3, I'm sorry, range 0 to 2 gains an additional strain token. So nobody here. That's going to be 1 strain on Ahab. 1 there. Nobody in that arc. That seems fine. And nobody in this arc. So that actually was not so bad. Seems decent. Okay, pick up these focus tokens. Really needing those right now. And go back to dials. This will be the last turn that I get a plot stuff, and then we're going to drop this tentacled behemoth on the board, and then the real game begins. But unfortunately, I lost a lot of shields in the setup just getting here, so we'll see how it goes. Ahab definitely needs to plot a blue maneuver to get rid of that stress and that strain. Still going to have an extra strain on him because I can only get rid of one. So I think a 2 bank sounds good there. It's going to show up over there, so I think this Mining Guild Surveyor is also just going to try to get rid of that stress, I think. Just by going, I'm going to get a little bit further away from it. I'm going to go 2 straight. Asajj is definitely going to want to try to move a little slower here. I think a 1 straight. 1 straight and then a rotate, I think. Yeah, because right now my turret arc is facing forward, so I'm going to face it this way, I think. And I'll just go with a 1 straight there. Kind of a questionable move. And then Lima's just going to get set up for the attack run next turn. So I'll go with a 1... I don't want to do a 1 turn. Let's do a 2 bank. She's going to go last, so hopefully these other ships will get out of the way. Okay, first things first. Mining Guild Surveyor at the end of the phase is going to pick this up. That is number 5, so that means I get to now remove one of these hyperspace points. So I'll remove this one. That means Trident is showing up over there no matter what. Strain goes on that ship. And then over here, we'll pick up this one. That is number 6. So now the Trident will be revealed. I believe during the end phase is when it gets revealed. Let me double check that. Yep, at the end of stage 1. Yep, so I won't be able to blast it this turn. It's going to just show up at the end of this phase, and then next turn it's going to flip over one of the activation cards and hopefully not destroy me. We'll see how all that goes. Okay, so anyway, we've got Asajj just doing a 1 straight. Nice and cautious. Let me see if I can get over here so I can actually see that. All right. 1 straight and then a rotate. Rotate my indicator off of this direction. And Limakai is last. Just going to go with a 2 bank. Blue maneuver here. And we'll take a focus. Why not? Okay. I think that is that. Let me just double check one thing on the ruling of the placement of this stuff and see if the ambush attacks happen this phase or if that happens in the next phase. Let me just double check that. Okay, yeah, so no extra actions now. So this is going to be revealed, so I'll pick all these up. And now the Trident shows up. So I roll to indicate which of the 3 points that the Trident will align itself on. If I roll a hit, it's going to put its rear guides here. If I roll a focus, rear guides here. If I roll a blank, front guides there. So it'll be facing me. And that's what I really don't want. Oh no. Okay. All right. Well, that's not what I wanted. When this gets placed, it is going to land right on top of this cloud here. So as per the huge ship rules, it's going to remove that, and it is going to get a jam token, which probably won't matter too much here, but it might in case it throws out a lock or something akin to that. Okay, that is the end of the first phase. That is the first one. And now I actually have to figure out what I am going to do against this thing. So the real danger here is that the Trident is going to do like a 5 straight and just land right here and throw 5 damage on both of those ships, which is 100% not what I want. So I got to get the heck out of the way, I think, is my first order of business, just in case that card flips. So let's plot some maneuvers. So I got a Mining Guild Surveyor over here. He has 1 strain on him. I think I'm going to go... I'm just going to try to get repositioned for a later turn, I think, with him. He just can't really stomach any hits, I don't think. So I'm just going to go with a 3 Yeah, I'll do a 3 bank. Hopefully I won't hit that thing. We'll see how that goes. Lima is going to go... I definitely don't want to be in the straight... I think she's actually clear of it. So if it moves straight forward, it probably won't get me. But if I move straight forward, it probably will. So I'm going to go kind of slower with that ship. And I think I'll just do like a one bank. That seems fine. No focus token there. Ahab definitely wants to clear that stress and that strain this turn. So I'm going to do a 2 bank. Going around that way. And Asajj is going to try to get way out and around to the side of this thing. I think Asajj can handle getting the kind of tanking the front attack, but definitely doesn't want to get landed on and take a bunch of damage. So I'm going to go with a 3 turn there. Okay, cool. So let's do some maneuvering. So let's go first here. We've got a 3 bank going this way. Of course, gonna hit that debris field. Classic. Okay, let's see what happens there. Bop. It's only on a crit, I believe, right, for the debris field. Ooh, I gotta double check a rule. Obstacles. I think I would remember this, but I'm blanking right now. Chat, help me out. What happens when you hit a debris field? It's a stress, I know that, and then I think it's on a crit result, takes a damage. Stress. All right. So 1 stress for that fellow. Okay, thank you very much. Next, we're going to go with Ahab, going with a 2 bank. Here. Clearing both the strain and the stress there, and we'll go for a focus action. Ooh, I could barrel roll. No, I don't really want to get in front of that. I'm just going to go over there. That seems great. Okay, next we've got Asajj. Doing that awesome 3 blue turn maneuver. Okay. Oh boy, this might not be the best. Maybe I should have banked. Oh boy, yeah, that wasn't the best maneuver. I think I'm gonna focus here. I'm just gonna use my main gun attacks, I think, to try to hit this thing. And that clears the strain that was on her for the blue maneuver there. And then a 1 straight for old Makai. Trying to get those Proton Torpedoes rolling. Okay. Well, I'll have to do a... I'm still in that thing's front arc, so I'm going to have to actually spend an action to get the lock. So I will do that. I've chosen her as number 8, I think. Yep, so I'll get a lock here. Okay. All right, are we ready to see what this thing does? I am. Let's see. Let's flip one of these magical cards and find out what happens. And the result is, maybe it's a little nervous. Oh, one thing. When you spawn the Trident, and I forgot to do this, you need to also put down an aggression marker. And the aggression marker is essentially the point of reference that the Trident is now going to use when it does its maneuvers. And the aggression marker looks like this. Little token right here. So at that time, the closest ship was this Mining Guild Surveyor. So it will go over to there. Okay, so anyway, the card. I have gotten a... If the ship with the aggression marker is in the Trident's front arc, the Trident executes a white 5 straight. Oh gosh. Well, that's okay for Asajj, not very good for Lee Makai. because that thing is going to definitely put it very close. Next, it will then perform its 2 actions. Oh, here, you know what? I can actually bring up this card. Let me see. Lunge forth. There it is. So this is really the thing that I did not want to happen, but c'est la vie. Then its 2 actions are going to be calculate and then lock the ship with the aggression marker if able. So first things first, it's going to do a white 5 straight, which is going to, yep, that is going to displace Lima Kai. Let me see here. Oops, she's just going to get moved anyway, so that's not going to matter. And then right here, oh, it's just going to barely nick Asajj Ventress 2. That is unfortunate. All right, so we'll put the 5 here. It's going to go its 5 straight forward. Both of these ships are now going to be displaced, which means that I will then put them in the rear arc, however I want to face them. In this case, small base ships have a little bit of a reprieve here because there is a space in between the halfway point and the rear arc that they can actively fit. So I'm going to go ahead and put Lima Kai like this to keep them safe. Unfortunately, Lima does suffer 5 damage. So that is going to strip off a shield and inflict 1, 2, 3, 4 damage to Lima Kai. Oh, that's bad. So Lima Kai now has 2 hull left. Asajj is also going to suffer that 5 damage, unfortunately. And she had no shields left, so that's going to reduce her down to 3 hull. And this is how the Trident beats you. Okay, let me see, where is Asajj? There we go, so 5 damage on Asajj. And now Asajj, unfortunately, can't really place herself so she can not get tractor tentacled, I do believe. So I'm going to try to place her, let me see. I'm going to place her over here on this side, in the rear arc, like this. To be touching in such a way, I guess I could, yeah, it's still going to count as being in contact, I guess, so I won't be able to actively shoot at it. Yeah, so I'll put her there. Okay, so the ships that I do have that have a shot, let's see here if, yep, Ahab has got a shot there off to the side. It is going to be at range 2. Yep, range 2 there. So normally Ahab rolls 2 dice, but that thing's got a larger base, so Ahab is going to roll 3. It has a focus. I think it's worth it. I'm going to go ahead and spend that. Inflict 3 hits. The Trident has 0 agility, so not much it can really do there. Oh, I forgot to perform the actions for the Trident, by the way. So you're going to get a lock here. Lock on this one, and then it would gain a calculate token, but this jam token is going to cancel that out. Okay. So that was 3 damage on the Trident. It's got 4 shields, so it's down to 1. I think that's all the shots it has. So now it's going to perform its attacks, and there is a list of attacks that it has. Thankfully, the ship with the aggression marker is not in its arc, so it won't suffer the additional effects there. And essentially, whenever the Trident attacks a ship with the aggression marker, it automatically changes all of its focus results to hit results. So it doesn't even really need to spend a focus token in order to do it. Okay, let me see, where were we? Trident, oh yeah, beating me down. That's how it's going. So in forward arc, I don't see any ships in the forward. That just means a whole lot of tractor tentacles going on Asajj. So here we go. So it has a drill beak, so it can perform 1 bonus drill beak attack against a ship in its rear arc. Grab these cards just to refer to them as I roll the dice. This is a 3 dice attack. Oh, okay. Hit 2 crits. Asajj can try to defend. Oh my gosh, the blanks. The blanks, Asajj. Not good. Oh no. I think that's the end of Asajj Ventress. Oh, what a unsuitable end for a mighty Sith warrior. That's going to take care of that. No additional stuff needed, so it's still going to keep those 3 energy it had. It has nobody else to attack. Oh no! This is looking a bit grim. Asajj was supposed to be the one that could take all the damage, but not in this case. See. Okay, so we'll go back to Dial, see if I can pull this out and start to actually get some damage in here. So the Trident is going to regain 1 shield. It's going to go back up to 2 at the end phase, and then I'm going to go ahead and plot my dials. So let's do that. So Lee Mackay, I think, is going to want to go for the old 4K and hopefully utilize the pattern analyzer and her native ability to get set up for some proton torps going in there. This character here is just still got to get the heck out of dodge, I think. Don't want that thing to come to bear here. So this will probably be the last round. We'll finish up this round, and then we will continue this epic battle in next week's stream. In the meantime, if you have any general questions about the Trident or anything else, go ahead and post those in the chat. We'll try to answer those next time. I haven't really been able to keep up with all of the stuff that's going on in that chat, but just trying to keep everything rolling here. Hopefully you are understanding more or less how lethal the Trident can be in this scenario in particular. One cool thing is that I should mention is that for every one of those objective markers that you scored earlier, if you're playing a multiplayer game, you can spend one of those to respawn a ship so somebody else can kind of come in. So it's like really good for like a multiplayer kind of scenario when you got a bunch of people, somebody gets knocked out, like a Asajj player just gets knocked out right out the gate. Well, they can always come back in a later turn to try to take it down. And then, you know, inevitably you're probably going to wear the Trident down, but it's you always just kind of keep score and see how well you do. You can kind of compare your results against your friends and stuff. And yeah, it's kind of fun. It's one of these kind of just cool, fun scenarios that you can tweak and adjust, you know, and challenge yourself. You can bring fewer ships if you wanted to. This is essentially 200 points, 199 points that I brought as per the scenario rules. But you could shave it down if you think it's you know, it's just too easy. Maybe the first time through, you don't get lunged upon by a Trident and get destroyed, like I did. Who knows? Okay, this guy here. Let me see. So I can probably get those afterburners into effect to actually get a decent shot off on this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do a 2-turn. Oh, he's got a stress though. Let's get rid of that. We'll do a 2-bank instead. And then Ahab is going to do... He is going to do the 2-turn to the right. I'm sorry, to the left. So we'll do that. Okay, so starting here. We've got the old 2-bank going on. Went out to this point. And then I'm going to go ahead and expend... Oh, afterburners is actually only when you do a speed 3 to 5 maneuver. Oops, that was my mistake. Read your cards. Hello. That does get rid of this. Still got a lock on him, still has this. So maybe I can just use this guy as bait to try to lure this thing out somewhere and deal with it later. Ahab is doing the 2-turn. Go. That. And Ahab is going to go ahead and get that focus token. I think that seems good. He's in a great spot right now. And then Lee Mackay is going to do her work. Go for the 4K. Right to here. I will perform 1 action. I will go ahead and I will focus from my pattern analyzer. Let me do that. When you fully execute a red maneuver before the check difficulty step, you may perform 1 action. So I guess that would be before I actively move it, but I'm not too upset about it. Okay, I think I'm set up all right. I should have plotted a 3 maneuver here to boost, but I really wanted to get rid of that stress in hopes of getting an action. So that will be the price that I pay. Oh, Trident. Treat me nice. What is it going to be? A cautious approach. All right, so let's see what that card does. There it is. Okay. If the ship with the aggression marker, this one, is in the Trident's left arc, it executes a blue turn maneuver in that direction. Oh no, Ahab, you're probably going to get run over again. Oh no. Otherwise, the Trident executes a blue 3 straight. Then it's going to calculate, then it's going to reinforce to its front. Oh boy. Okay, let's see how this goes. So, hook this tool in here. And then it is now going to do a 2 bank in that direction. Oh, I have. You are safe, but you are in the jaws of Tractor Tentacle Town. See how that goes. Well, not stupendous. This AI deck is outwitting me at every turn. Don't like it. And then a reinforce to the front. Oh my. Okay. Well, let's start off with some shooting. We've got Lee Mackay going first. Now is the time to Proton Torpedo. I think that is the deal. So I got range 2 to 3. Yep. Got it. Most definitely. Proton Torp is going to be 4 dice. I got the target lock. I got the focus. Let's hope for the best. Well, I think I'm going all in. Target lock for that. Focus for that. Loving it. Seems great. No focus there. Spent my target lock. That is going to be 4 damage on the Trident. Oh, it's got reinforced to the front. I think that cancels one. Yep, reduce the damage to the... Oh, no, I'm actually not in the front arc, though. Oh, no, it's the front half. So, yeah, that will only do 3. So that's going to rob me of 1 of these. The Trident has currently got 2 shields, so that means 1 crit is going to go through. Let's see what that one is. Critical effect is... I'm in the side. Turret disabled. The attacker chooses 1 of your hardpoint upgrades that is not offline. Flip that card. Boy, it seems like it would be silly of me not to disable the tractor tentacles. Let's get rid of those for this turn, so Ahab does not take them to the face. That seems great. I will apply that precision effect there. Then flip that card. Okay, cool. Seems pretty solid. Okay. So I got a damage in against the Trident. I only have 9 more to go. Ahab, now's your time, good friend. 2 dice normally. 1 extra dice because he's Ahab, and 1 because he's real close. He's got that focus. I'm doing it. I'm spending it right now. That seems amazing. 4 damage. Ahab, putting in the work. Oh, things are turning. 2, 3, 4. Seems pretty solid. And I think that's it. But you know what? Just in light of showing you all how tractor tentacles function, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to disable the drill beak instead of the tractor tentacle. Actually, no, never mind. I'm going to keep that drill beak. I'll keep it as I was. I won't backtrack anything. He still has an attack to the rear. Still has that drill beak going against Ahab, so he's going to go ahead and use that. So if I'm at range 0 with the drill beak, it is pretty nasty, but it has range 0 to 1. I can perform it at range 0. It's especially nasty. It converts hits to crits if I'm at range 0, which is pretty savage. Let's go ahead and do that. Calculate token's not going to help, so it's going to be 2 damage against Ahab. We'll cancel them out. That will then spend an energy to perform that attack again, as it can do it 1 extra time. Oh, not so bad. Okay. I will spend that Calculate token to make that 2 hits that the Trident does have. And, oh, actually Ahab rolls 1 extra dice because of his ability. Oop, uh-oh, that's not going to do it. There's going to be some damage on Ahab. 2, in fact. 1, 2. Okay, so the end of the current state of the game, where we're at right now. The Trident has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage on it, so I am halfway there. Ahab has 1 damage left. Limakai is also very beat up, and it might all be on the shoulders of the Mining Guild Surveyor to save the day. We shall see how it will all unfold. So we're going to come back next week, where we will come back and we'll finish up this particular scenario. We'll also answer some general questions about the Trident and everything that's coming up with that. In general, thank you all so very much for joining me today. I had a blast just playing through this. I think the scenario was super fun. It's really great. I can't wait to get it on the table with my friends and try to compete for the kill with them as we battle this nasty tentacled terror. So we will be back next week. We stream every week from Tuesday through Friday. Just as a reminder, the Trident class assault ship is going to come out in 2 weeks on the 25th of June. So make sure to get your pre-orders in if you have not done so already. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time. All right, take care.